The Rhododendron Main Street Site Redevelopment Plan project offers an opportunity for Clackamas County, local residents, and businesses to plan for redevelopment in a way that reduces demand on the transportation system while accommodating desired workforce housing. Interested residents and community members have been planning a long-term vision for Rhododendron and working to improve conditions along Highway 26 for several years. Plans such as the Mount Hood Pedestrian Bicycle Implementation Plan and Rhody Rising Visioning Plan are now informing this latest project. The project area is centered on two privately held properties on the southwest side of US Route 26, totaling about 4 acres. Publicly owned lands adjacent to Rhododendron Swinging Bridge and Rhododendron Community Landscape at the Barlow Trail Oregon Historic Marker are also included in the project area. During the spring and summer of 2020, Clackamas County, the Department of Land Conservation and Development, DLCD, and the MIG consultant team conducted interviews and held an online discussion to hear from community members and stakeholders with an interest and understanding of rhododendron, study area, and its potential future. An online survey was also provided to gain insight on preferred land uses and potential improvements. The natural environment and surrounding forest create a unique setting and visitor experience that make Rhododendron a special place. There is a need for more housing, especially for workers, and desire to create a greater mixture of uses to strengthen the local economy. People value the small scale of existing development and want to retain this same look and feel, with public areas and green space integrated within new development. There are no designated places for residents or visitors to walk or bike along the highway. There are no safe crossings, yet transit stops for the Mount Hood Express are on opposite sides of the street. In addition to community interests, the planning team reviewed existing zoning and planning documents and commissioned a feasibility study to understand development potential for the site. The study found some demand for rental housing, hotels, and certain types of commercial uses such as small-scale business space. Three potential land use alternatives for the site have been developed that reflect community interests, site conditions, and development feasibility. All three alternatives include an improved transit stop, a new public plaza north of the site that is currently publicly owned, as well as a potential soft surface trail along the Zigzag River. Alternative A would provide a 2-story, 58-unit hotel, landscaping, and required parking on most of the site. This alternative would include 2 small-scale retail buildings at the north end with a small outdoor area, including reuse of the former gas station building. An improved crossing would also be provided at the north end of the site to connect the retail uses to Mount Hood Foods across the highway. Alternative B would provide 6 2-story cabin-style walk-up apartments totaling 51 units, as well as landscaping and required parking. Like Alternative A, this alternative would also include 2 small-scale retail buildings at the north end with a small outdoor area, including reuse of the existing former gas station building. An improved crossing would also be provided at the north end of the site, similar to Alternative A. Alternative C would provide the same type and number of cabin-style walk-up apartments as Alternative B, but features small-scale retail buildings towards the center of the site. Unlike the first 2 alternatives, this alternative features 2 new 1,500 square foot retail buildings with a central gathering space that aligns with an improved highway crossing connecting the site to the post office building. Along with potential land use alternatives, there are 2 potential street frontage improvements based on existing state and local planning recommendations and guidelines. Both concepts assume use of a center pedestrian refuge for the highway crossing and potential pedestrian crossing signals. Any final design would require approval by ODOT. Concept A would provide a continuous 10-foot sidewalk and separated 8-foot bike lane along the site's highway frontage. A 7-foot landscaped area would provide a buffer from the highway. Concept B would provide a shared 15-foot wide bike and pedestrian path along the site's highway frontage. A wider 10-foot landscaped area and water quality swale would provide a buffer from the highway. As draft alternatives and concepts, we would like you to tell us what you think. What would you like to see take place on the site? What right-of-way frontage improvements to improve mobility would you like to see? Find the survey on the project webpage and respond to a few questions to provide your opinions. We will share responses later this fall and use your opinions to create the preferred alternative for land uses and frontage improvements for this site.